Hey guys, well I have got something pretty interesting for you this week. I'm doing something that I never ever do. For those of you that know about me, I was taught by a guy named Jay Penamore-Riekert, who was the blacksmith in Andersonville, Georgia. And one of the things that Jay always said was never perform in public what you have not perfected in private. And for this video, I'm actually breaking that rule. It seems like every blacksmith out there is making freaking beer bottle openers, bottle opener things. And I have never made one. So this time around, I'm actually on camera going to be making my first attempt at a beer bottle opener. And it's going to look like this right here. Trick with the bottle openers, of course, is getting this piece out, which we're going to have to punch and drift it out. Getting our little piece, our little nipple, a little here. I don't have a good word for this. Whatever this thing is right here, that helps us get the lid off is what we've got to be doing, and we're going to add a nice decorative handle to it. The steel I use for this is 3/16 by 1 inch. I started with a 12-inch piece, though I cut it down to about a 4-inch piece when everything was said and done. But outside of that, guys, we've got a little bit of fire, and let's go make our beer bottle opener. Not having done this before, I really don't have a great sequence of events. I mean, there's a distinct possibility I could screw this guy up, so I'm kind of just going on some of the things I've done before. I thought about actually working on the handle first, but I think we're actually going to go for the portion of the bottle opener that's going to be in the head, which means we're going to need to punch it and drift it as best we can. Now, with the drift, I'm not really going to punch a giant hole. I'm probably going to drift it out to about a 1/2 inch, but then I'm going to go over to Jay's comb mandrel. Back in the day when we were in Andersonville, if Jay were actually wanting to really make a larger piece, he would actually use the top tool in the mandrel. So what we'll do is we'll punch it out to about a 1/2 inch, or drift it out to about a 1/2 inch, and then actually come down on top of the mandrel and hammer it down over the mandrel. Now, I think that the size on these is actually 1 inch. I mean, when you open up the portion that actually fits around the lid of the bottle, it's over 1 inch. I don't have a drift that big, don't care to make one, so we're going to improvise this time around. But first part of this project, I'm going to take this punch, pop a hole in it, and go ahead and drift it open, very much like the trammel project we did earlier. Good heat. You can see I've actually taken the grinder and I rounded this piece on the front to start with. Sink that. Come over to the back side and over the pritchel. And that should be, there we go, not too terrible bad. Now since we're going to move so much metal, I'm actually going to take another good heat before I go ahead and drift it on open. This time we go straight back to the pritchel hole. And there we go. Now, the good news is in a previous show we did, we actually made this 1/2 inch drift pin. So now what I'm going to do is heat this guy up, ram it through there, and go ahead and open it up to the 1/2 inch. Go ahead and drive this all the way through. And there's our 1/2 inch hole. Now we're ready to go over to our mandrel and then very carefully start trying to open this guy up to something that's going to be big enough to open up a beer bottle. Now when you're doing this particular type of work, at least on this type of mandrel, I usually prefer a hammer that has a really squared side. If you get a round one, it's kind of hard to get it to match up to the side because I really want to actually push as close to the mandrel as I can. So if the mandrel's like this, I want that hammer strike to fall just along that edge to push the metal down. Now not only am I going to work it all the way around, I'm going to flip it over quite a bit as well. this is going a lot faster than I imagined. So let's take another heat and continue to work it down. Of course, whenever you do anything new, you never know what's going to screw up, what's going to break, how much of an idiot you're going to look like on camera. But this is going pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about this. One of the great things about doing a lot of this iron work is that even when you're prototyping stuff, you usually got a pretty good idea of how to go about it and it not blow up. All right, and I think one more time is going to get us. I'm going to go ahead and stretch it on out because this thing's not going to be completely round. We're actually going to mush it in a little bit, and that should be big enough for a beer bottle top. Now, it's odd. I mean, it seems like every blacksmith and their brother is doing a bottle opener these days, and I don't drink beer. I'm a whiskey feller. That Wild Turkey 101. So this ain't going to do me a whole heap of lot of good. Okay, I think that's going to do it. What I'm going to end up doing now is I'm going to come back in and kind of mush this in just a little bit. I'm going to make it more of an oval than a complete round. And then we've actually got to put a little tab right here, which we're going to use a small ball peen hammer and my big cross peen hammer to make that happen. Now, one of the things I'm sitting here having debate is I know I want an oval, and the question is, do I try to freehand it on the top of the anvil, or do I try to use the mandrel itself to make those edges? And I have elected to go back from the mandrel. So let's try it and see what we can do here. I'm going to push against this. Got to keep this bad boy flat. Actually, that is working out quite well. There we go. Got a little bit. That's looking pretty good. Man, I did not think it was going to turn out this well, this quickly. How about that? So guys, there is the top of our piece. Now we need to make a little tit here on the bottom. That's to actually catch the edge or the lip of the bottle cap. So the way I'm going to do this is you can either use a punch or something. You want to catch it right here on this bottom edge and push that way. And I want to do it in a clean fashion. So what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take my tiny ball peen hammer and I'm going to lay that bad boy right here on this edge and use this as a set hammer and then smack it with my other hammer and try to push that little piece out. Now again, this is trickier than it sounds, especially because I'm having to balance everything. All right, let's give this a try. No promises. Piece is a little cold for my taste, but we're going to try this anyway. Huh, it worked. That's not the straightest thing in the world, but you can see we've got that little tab pushing out. And if I take one more heat, I think I can push it out even a little bit further if I wanted to. Let's do that. And look at there. I would not have thought it, but she's turned out pretty darn good. Now, she's still not completely straight as I want her. But that shouldn't be a problem. A little bit of coal work ought to aim that up, or true that up, rather. And now I reckon I just need to work on my handle just a little bit. I think I'm going to come in with a fullering tool and squeeze this down a bit. So let's grab it. And I'm not going to have it this long. I just probably want it about maybe 3-4 inches. So let's take a heat. So guys, I gotta say, I'm pretty surprised how well this has turned out. Like I said, I was fully expecting to have to do several of these and screw it up, but going pretty well so far. Now, my only trick in this is making sure that I don't damage the actual piece that I just worked on while I'm working on the handle, which may prove to be trickier than anticipated. All right, here we go. Let's put her into our fuller. Looking good so far. I'm going to use my cutting hardy. I'm going to cut her off about right here, and then I'm going to flare that edge, and that ought to be our bottle opener. That comes right off. And now let's spread this. You know what? I really like that texture just as it is. I was thinking about cleaning it up, but no, we good. We good. Looking good. Let's make sure she's straight. And I think a little scrub-a-dub-dub is in order. And let's hit her in some oil. Now I've dipped this in a canola oil, and just like with a lot of other pieces, I'm going to bake that finish in. Oh yeah, she's looking good. Looking good. I'm going to wipe her down while she's hot. I think we got a goat going psycho out in the yard somewhere. All right. Let's take a quick look. Check that out, guys. Now, she's still hot. That's the reason I'm not touching her. But let's cool her down, and then we'll give her a shot. So, guys, here we are at the moment of truth. We've got a good-looking bottle opener here, but the question is, does it work? Have my lovely assistant here. And absolutely, I've never made one of these before. And like I said, I'm not a beer drinker, but we're going to see if this damn thing works. And ha-ha! How about that? Anyway, guys, that's your piece. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go throw this away. Guys, you be good. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you later. How about that? God, I fucking hate beer. Oh, bleep that out. That is disgusting. It's what. God, I'm gonna go need to lick a butthole to get the taste out of my mouth.